Hey, welcome everybody to Executive Espresso, and thank you for being so patient. We had about 15 minutes of kerfuffle with this software update where all the things on my software seem to be moved around, but that's just an exercise in just move ahead, get it done, don't catastrophize it. You have a little bit of anxiety, but go ahead and just move forward and get it done. We have a great guest here today. We'll get right to business. Mario Roberts Jr. is here to pump you up into a healthier lifestyle, and he is the author of the Fit for Life program. He is the creator of the Lifechanging 1590 method. He's the curator of Dreamzone newsletter, and he's a former Dad Bod Owner. And welcome, Mario. Thank you for being here. How'd you decide to get into this kind of practice, this kind of work?
So really, I just got into this kind of work because, for one, um, this type of stuff helped me in my personal life, and for two, I have a history of helping people with these types of things. I think there's always certain people where their close friends and relatives always know they can come to them for advice, and I just seem to be that person. People come to me, about personal problems, and I tend to seem to be able to always give people good advice that actually helps them in the long run. And then as far as fitness, um, for me, fitness was very crucial in my own self development. And so once I saw that I knew how to actually get results, I got results for myself. I helped people in my personal life get results, and I helped them lose weight as well. I realized that I know what I'm talking about, and I can help a bunch of people do the same thing. And so at that point, why not turn it into a personal brand? And just to piggyback off that, I think beyond the fitness aspect, my main, the true interest is self development. I just use fitness kind of as the specific vehicle, but I think that when you just have a vision and you have goals in life, it sets you up for so many greater things. And so I decided to turn it into a personal brand.
Well, what seem to be some of the main hurdles for you? When it comes to getting fit, what are some of the things that really got in your way and self limited you that you had to tackle?
I would say it was purely mindset, nothing else really. I believe that we all, no matter how, excuse me, no matter how busy you are in life, all of us have some type of time that we can dedicate to fitness and personal development, whether it's, it might just be stop for 10 minutes here and get a quick hit workout in and then do another, 25 minutes later. But ultimately, I just wasn't allocating my time the right way. Procrastination was a big part of it. And I think the main thing is that it just came down to me not having a specific vision for who I wanted to be. So after I would get off work every day, there was no direction. It's just finding ways to fill my time in, which over a long period of time, that habit adds up to me being out of shape, developing a dad bod, not progressing towards any meaningful goals and things like that.
Well, now that you mentioned the dad bod thing, so you had a dad bod, huh? What was it like having a dad bod?
I mean, it was very dad-ish. It was kind of normal because I think a lot of dads have dad bods, and so it didn't really strike me until my girlfriend pointed it out one day. She's like, "Wow, like you really have a dad bod." I progressively gained more and more weight, um, and it wasn't even like it wasn't like the dad bod was just there. It just was kind of over time, habit set in. I stopped going to the gym and things like that. I had went through a period of time where I wasn't tracking calories or anything, but I was just very conscious about what I was eating. I wasn't drinking soda. I was always trying to make healthy choices. I had fell off of that. I had, got back into drinking a bunch of sugary drinks, eating a bunch of, you know, uh, fried food and just all type of things like that. And eventually one day I looked in the mirror and I'm just like, oh snap, like who is this guy? Um, because that wasn't me growing up. I was always playing sports, naturally just athletic and lean. And so then I get to a point where, I have all this extra fat on me, like my muscles are losing definition. Um, and it just was, I guess it was a part of just being in the rat race, being in the daily grind, just get up, go to work every day, you know, get off work, try to take care of the family, and I was just so focused on that that I wasn't thinking about what the direction am I headed in personally.
And I hear guys beat themselves up over that, and I wanna say, guys, I think you should give yourselves a break. I think if you decide to have a family, which you don't have to have a family, your priority should be your family. But realize that in getting that new family, and I'm trying to get my fingers on camera, the tips of my fingers are a pattern. A pattern. Look at like a jigsaw puzzle pattern. So Mario's pattern was to be a fit person, but then that whole pattern had to be set aside when he had a family. That means he has to go back and remake his pattern and make an integral part being fit. And being fit with a family is going to be a very different thing than being fit as a single guy or as a not single guy but that doesn't have children. It may be to look good, it may be to attract somebody in a relationship. Well, once you have a family, all that changes, and it should change. But the reason to be fit now for me, and I'd love to hear your reason for being fit now, is because I view the best way I can serve my family is with physical health. What about you, Mario?
Yeah, so I would say truthfully that did have a that did play a role in it because I would be in situations where, especially when my son was smaller, still in a car seat. Let's say I'm carrying him into a store and maybe we had to park super far away. And while I'm carrying him, I'm just like, I'm winded. I'm like, oh, snap. Like, I shouldn't be this tired, just from having to carry him this distance. And I would get to a point where, once he got a little older and he could walk, sometimes I would still carry him depending on the situation. And I just say, look, man, you got to get down just because I was tired. I needed need to catch my wind. And so I'm like, okay, that's not me. That's not who I am. And so, like you said, I realized, or even something like, just bringing groceries in the house. I would, and I'm the type of person, like, I like to do one load as much as possible. So I'm grabbing as many groceries as I can. And I would do that, but then I would come in the house and I'm out of breath. So I
That's
actually
so
just made a
that's
point
so
to,
funny you should say that. It's weird that men do that. I'm a
yeah,
one load kind of guy too. Just yesterday, my wife was struggling to get a grocery bag in the house, and I said, just let me do it. I'll make one trip. All these
yeah,
groceries, 37 bags of groceries, one trip. Watch me. And so I think guys are like that. And one of those things we can be like that, I think, is to make sure that we're the fittest we can possibly be so that we can then confront and tackle the challenges of family. Because how are you going to have stamina without having physical fitness? How are you going to be the last one to fall over if you don't have a good level of physical fitness? How are you going to be the one that takes care of a sick family if you don't have a good level of physical fitness? How are you going to get up and go to work every day and not get sick and not get burned out, as they say, if you don't have a good level of physical fitness? I find a lot of what people call burnout is really lack of physical fitness. So there's all kinds of reasons to be physically fit. So let's talk about some methods that folks can use, Mario, to just some quick tips and techniques. You mentioned one earlier, and I was going to ask you to define that. I think you said, did you mention HIIT training? Is that what you're talking about, or did I just mishear that?
yes, absolutely. I think HIIT training. So HIIT stands for high intensity interval training, which means you don't have to do the workout for 2 hours or anything like that. It's literally quick 10, 15, maybe 25 minutes if you can go that long. But it's basically you work out for, let's say if you do a 10-minute HIIT workout, you just go the whole time. You don't stop at all. And it's high intensity, so it's things that get your heart rate pumping. And you switch from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and then you keep cycling and doing that over and over for 10 or 15 minutes. It's a great way to burn fat. People think you can't work out for 10, 15 minutes and burn fat, but if you're doing it consistently, over a year, and then you're eating right, you're going to be a good person. But HIIT workouts are great. If you're someone that feels like you don't have time to work out, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to just go to YouTube and type in HIIT workout, HIIT. I promise you, you will find something that you can do, and it'll work. Like I said, it's 10 minutes. You step away, do the workout. Nobody ever knows you were gone.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Can you give us some examples of what types of exercises people can use to implement HIIT training, high intensity interval training?
So you have things that are compound. So like burpees, for example, you go down to the ground, push yourself up, stand up, jump. You have body weight squats, right? So obviously you just stand up, you squat down using nothing but your body weight. You jump up, literally something like high knees, jumping jacks. You can do weights as well, right? Where it's just like, let's say you have a dumbbell in each hand and you're just pumping them up like this. You can do a lot of exercises. The main thing is just the intensity. Instead of you're kind of slow and really working on form and thing, you use a lighter weight that you can just continue to lift over and over. But you do it as high intensity as you possibly can. And then once that burn starts to come in, you just push through it and keep going as high intensity and with as good form as you possibly can. So there's a lot of different workouts you can do.
Let me see what you think about this. I got started doing HIIT training many years ago, and for me, it's been a game changer. My high intensity interval workout is 20 minutes. I will start out and do 60 seconds of a jog, something that is moderate intensity, and then I worked my way. It used to be, let me back up. It used to be 2.5 minutes moderate, 30 seconds intense, 2.5 moderate, 30 seconds intense, and I began to switch that little by little, where now I'm doing 60 seconds moderate, and then 2 minutes high intensity. And I normally do this on a elliptical because it's easy on my joints. And so in the morning on an empty stomach, yesterday was at the end of a 40-hour fast, I did 60 seconds low, moderate intensity, which is a 5-5, 5 incline, 5 resistance on the elliptical. And then for 2 minutes, I ramped it up. I left it at 5 incline and ramped it up to a 20, the highest level of resistance. Now, when I started, I was doing maybe 3-3. So I find a lot of people, they have this thing, man, I'm going to get fit, and they start training like they're going to the Olympics. And what I want to ask you, how do you help people reset their mindset so that they have realistic goals and don't sabotage themselves by thinking they're going to leap over the Grand Canyon or something in week number 6 or something, or week number 12? I think going slow has a lot of wisdom, but how do you coach people to kind of slow their roll?
So first thing first is just like, why are you doing that workout? What are you trying to accomplish? What problem are you having in your life that is specifically going to solve? And a lot of times, people, they can't have a specific answer for that. For example, with me, when I talked about my son, right? I'm carrying my son into the store or whatever, and I'm getting tired. Okay, now I know I want to do right this type of exercise, some cardio or whatever, to get my stamina up, so I'm not getting tired. So I have a specific reason to want to do that workout. And so a lot of people, I think it's more so just like a chess battle where they just want to be the strongest guy, and it's like, why? What is that going to get you? So I think it comes down to just understanding, okay, what would you like to be able to do in your life? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to eventually, get stronger and do the big Olympic lifts or whatever. But it's like, start small. It's like you're trying to go from the bottom of the steps and jump all the way up to the top. You're wasting your time. Just take it one step at a time and you'll get there. So it's just kind of trying to bring everything back into perspective.
Yeah, and I do. I think that we should just slow down. When I got out of grad school, I was really I wasn't exactly overweight, but my body fat level was way too high, and I needed to lower that. which means that my visceral body fat, which I think is the most important measure of body fat, is visceral body fat. Not the fat around your belly button, but the fat inside your body wrapped around your organs that are strangling your organs. And I just got started out walking around the block. My wife and I get out, walk around the block, and then we gradually increase the intensity level. So I think we should give ourselves a break. Let's see. Let's go into our triple shot here at the end of our program here. It's normally only from 11 to 11:18, but we had that kerfuffle, and I'm still having a few camera issues. Thank you guys for being patient, and thank you for watching. I'm sure Mario would love for you to reach out to him. He's on X at Mario Roberts Jr., so he's also known as Little Mo. And he is a wealth of information, but just a few quick answers. What is your own current top mental struggle?
I'd say top mental struggle probably just constantly trying to fight procrastination. I had been a procrastinator for so long, and so now I'm kind of very big into productivity, but those old habits really try to sneak in.
Procrastination.
So
Yeah. Well, what's your current best mindset hack? Maybe something that you find helpful to battle that procrastination.
I would say it's a few things. One is just the long term goal. Like I know where I want to go, and I just know right. Procrastination is not going to get me there. It's going to keep setting me back. There's a domino effect. If you skip a workout one time, it's like now you have to try to get back on track. And so I don't want to get back into that spiral.
I listened to a podcast by Father Michael Schmitz, and he says that the hardest day to get back on your routine is the second day after you skip your routine. And that's why I don't skip. I don't want to make a habit out of skipping. You can make a habit out of anything, but you can also make a habit out of skipping. And lastly, one more thing before we get to your affirmation we'll leave the audience with is when you get down on yourself about not as much progress as you would like, not the look in the mirror that you would like, how do you say words of affirmation to yourself? What really helps you to get out of what I might call the dad bod blues?
I would think just it's really for me. It's all about just having a long term perspective. Simply because like I know where I am today compared to where I was a year ago. Uh, a year ago I had the dad bod, right? Now I don't. So and it was just small, just consistent actions over that time. So I now have that perspective that look, if a couple weeks go by and I'm not, where I want to be on the scale or whatever, it really doesn't matter. I just need to focus on continuing to show up and do the actions that are going to get me there. And so my big thing is a year from today. Like I even talk to my cousin a lot. I say, he has things that he worry about. I'm like, listen, just think about where you want to be a year from today. And so anytime I'm looking at, okay, I'm not getting this specific result right now. It's just, okay, if I keep on going down this path, where will I be a year from today? And that's been like my big thing recently.
That's great. And on that point, I appreciate that. And on that point, I would say to our viewers, hold yourself accountable, have that as a goal, but hold yourself accountable for the next step. My next step today, well, actually tonight, probably about 10 o'clock, is it's going to be time for trapezius muscle. That's it. That's what I'm going to do. I do have a goal of being fit into my 90s and hundreds, which is my motivation because I know the fitter I am today, the more fit I will be 3 or 4 or 5 decades from now. And you can be too. So let's leave our audience with some affirmation they can get out there and kind of apply to their mindset. What kind of words of encouragement would you give them?
The biggest thing, and I will stand on any mountaintop and shout this, across the whole world, is you can absolutely do anything you put your mind to. If you want to become a full-time entrepreneur one day, understand you can do it. If you want to start a podcast like he, and be able to have all these wonderful guests on, you can do it. Just because you don't know anything about it right now doesn't mean absolutely anything at all. Just understand you just need to have a clear vision. What exactly is it that you want? And then work backwards from there. Okay. And ultimately it's just about one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. And you know, if you're clear on what actions you need to be taking, regardless of what result you're doing, as long as you're constantly taking that action, right? For example, let's say 25 push-ups after you get out the bed every single day, 25 push-ups before you go to bed every single day. Do that for 3 months. You're going to see a difference. It's just about doing the push-ups. The result doesn't matter. So you can do anything as long that you can do anything that you put your mind to, as long as you know what you want, and then as long as you set actionable goals and stay consistent on them, you'll eventually get there.
And that's such great advice. I just want to point out on the push-ups, they don't have to be all in a row. Just look at it as a total. You might say, man, I can't do 25 push-ups. Well, can you do one? And then you take a break, and then maybe you can do two. And then you take a break, and maybe you can do one more. And then take a break and do two more. Well, I think that's six. See, that's six. So you're 25% of the way there. So I have a one more mentality. I'm just trying to beat my performance from yesterday. That's it. I'm not trying to beat Mario. I'm not trying to compete against somebody else. I'm just trying to one more than yesterday. And friends, listen to this as we let you go for the day. The only difference between your can and your can't is an apostrophe T. Get rid of the apostrophe T right up here, and that can't becomes a can. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Mario, for being here. Thank you for your patience with my technomomology difficulties. I think we got it figured out, and we'll see you guys on the next Executive Espresso.